guys, welcome back to another video from We're the Allisons. Thank you so much for being here after this long hiatus that we've gone through without giving you guys any content. Thank you, you're loyal, we appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
DJ Khaled, sorry. So today is going to be a story time video. I wanted to tell you guys about my first apartment experience, specifically about how I believe my apartment complex was to blame for me going to the hospital and being hospitalized for like 2 or 3 days. It was crazy. So first of all, I want to give some disclaimers right now before I start. I'm not going to give any names of the apartment building or any names of the people I dealt with. And I'm not going to give any names of anyone except for my friend Tyler, because he's my friend Tyler and he didn't do anything wrong and he could actually validate some of this stuff I'm going to tell you guys if you're interested. So without further ado, let's get into the story. So right out of college, I was offered a job at a newspaper, and I'm not going to give you the name of that either. Nice try. So right out of college, I was offered a job. I decided I wanted to go ahead and get an apartment in the same town that my college was located in because I knew I was going to need a roommate. I wasn't going to get paid a lot at this job, at least not enough to afford an apartment on my own. So I decided to room up with my best friend Tyler, and he was still going to classes at the same college. That's where we met. That's where we became friends. And so we found this place. We went and kind of looked at it. We really liked it. It looked good to us. So we signed a lease. I signed a lease, I think, and he was added on to that lease. We start out and everything's fine. Like, we're all giddy about the fact that we have our own place. And we start coming across a lot of problems. First and foremost, this apartment was covered in cockroaches. Like, it was insane. It started out small, like one here or there, and we were like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. But then it got insane. Like, there were cockroaches crawling up the walls, there were cockroaches everywhere. And of course, we're right out of college. Were we the most cleanly people? Was I the most cleanly person? Probably not. But it is important to note that even when we had this place pristinely cleaned, there were still cockroaches crawling on the wall, on the floor. There were cockroaches on the floor. There were cockroaches that were like trying to get into our fridge. There were cockroaches everywhere. And we looked at our lease because we were like, this is insane. They have to be doing something about this, right? And so we looked at our lease and we saw that they would take care of spraying for what they call water bugs. No, they're not water bugs. They're cockroaches, honey, okay? And so we called them and we were like, we are having a severe problem with these bugs. Like, they're everywhere. We need you guys to have someone come and spray for them. And they said, okay, we'll put you on the list. So we constantly called to be put on this list, and they were always, always, always everywhere. Like, they would, I guess, claim that the person who was spraying for the water bugs was coming during the day when both of us were gone, but I honestly think they never came. Like, I don't ever think that they came, and it was disgusting. It was so disgusting, in fact, that they hitched a ride with me over to my next house, and they, mated with the cockroaches at that house, and we had to call an exterminator. Disgusting. Like, honestly disgusting. Aside from that, we had issues persistently that actually, I think, and I'm like almost 100% positive at this point, led me to be hospitalized. So we started noticing a problem in our hallway. So I'm gonna kind of like tell you how our apartment was etched out, or how it was laid out. So you come in the front door and you're in the living room, obviously. And then if you go to the right, there is a little opening that is for the kitchen / dining room. If you kept going straight when you walked in the door, that was the hallway. And if you went straight, my room was on the left, and that was the master bedroom, and it had a toilet and a sink in it. So it was a half bath. And then on the immediate right was our bathroom. That it was a full bathroom with the shower and everything that Tyler and I shared. And then if you kept going straight, you were going to go into Tyler's room. So that's how our apartment was laid out. Well, in that little piece of hallway, like, my room was basically across from this bathroom. So in that area right there, we started to notice that water was puddling. And that was really concerning for us because we had never dealt with something like that before. We let people know right away. We were like, look, There's water pooling on the ground. Can someone come and take care of it? So we came home numerous days of our lives while we were living here to fans being like pointed at the ground, like regular box fans for the most part. And it wasn't really working because the fans weren't fixing the problem. The problem was that there was some kind of leak or something that was happening and going up under our floor, I guess like the floor underneath the carpet, and soaking through the carpet. There was literally mold was starting to grow. There was mold in Tyler's room. Tyler's room was also having issues in his closet, which was backed up to the bathroom. It started to smell, and we knew it was that area because it was really bad in the hallway, and that's where that was. But I have a video of us literally splashing around in it, like Tyler is jumping in it, and there are splashes of water coming up off the ground. Like, that's how bad this was. I kid you not. So I started feeling really, really sick, and at the time I was working at the newspaper. Part of my every week assignment at this newspaper was the poll question. Someone would have to stand outside of a place that was public and ask people if they wanted to be a part of it, and we had to like get their picture and a quote from them, and a lot of the times the questions were very politically charged. It would take me a long time to get that most of the time because a lot of people wouldn't want to answer either for political reasons, or they had family members involved, or they didn't want their picture taken. That was the big one. We had to get their picture. There was no not getting their picture. I was standing outside and it was absolutely scorching outside, and I had been feeling sick. I had been coughing and I had like flu-ish symptoms at the time, and I was just feeling absolutely awful. My now husband was back home at the time with his family for over the summer, and I was just sick. Another fact that you need to know is that at this paper, you had to work at the paper for so many months before they would cover you with insurance. And I did not have insurance, so I was not going to go to the doctor. I was not going to go to the hospital. Like, if I could help it, it wasn't gonna happen. Fast forward, I am at home one day and I am having a coughing fit. Like, it's absolutely terrible. Like, I'm coughing to the point where I'm like almost gagging and need to throw up. And I'm coughing so hard that I feel like I threw my back out. Like, I did something to my back. I was crying, I was screaming, and Tyler came in and Tyler was like, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "Dude, something just happened to my back. I can't breathe, blah, blah, blah." And so he helped me into the car, and I kid you not, I've never felt something as painful as the way my back felt when I was coughing like that. I've never felt anything more painful than that. He helps me in his car. He drives me to the hospital. We call another friend who's now not my friend, which is another story time video, maybe. We go over to the hospital, which happened to be right up the road. He goes and takes me to the emergency room, and we're sitting there. I go to like triage, I guess that's what it's called, where they assess you and you tell them what's wrong and all of that. I told them the symptoms I was having about like the coughing and the back pain, because the back pain was still bothering me, and I couldn't breathe. Like, it was awful. I could not breathe, and I'm sitting in here in this emergency room with almost 50 other people, like, kid you not, and they basically just tell me go sit down. There was a person beside me that was saying that they had been there for 8 hours. I was horrified because I was in so much pain and I could not breathe. I've never been that sick. I promise you, I've never been that sick. They kept calling people up to triage to check on them. And I'm over here, I'm in so much pain. I can't breathe, and no one's checked on me. And a couple of times my friends went up, Tyler went up, and this person who I'm not friends with anymore went up. And they asked, like, no one's checking on her. She can't breathe. Like, they kept saying something. They're like, it's fine, it's fine. They kept, like, shooing them off. And the lady beside us, we had talked to her for so long, and she was talking to us about how they'd been there for forever, and they were just worried. She was worried about me, which is really, it was really hard because I didn't feel well, but I can't remember what the situation was, but whoever she was with was like really not feeling good, and it was really bad. But in the time of waiting in the waiting room, a guy came in with a gunshot wound, so that definitely It was gunshot or stab, but that definitely pushed it back. And of course they treat that first, and I understand that. My mom had been contacted by my friend at this point, and we contacted a couple of my other friends, and my boyfriend, Jonathan, was contacted. And basically I was just sitting there in a lot of pain. My mom was already pretty much packing her bags on the way to come down. And Tyler, I think Tyler had a class the next day, but he stayed like the whole time until my mom got there almost. I think he had like a class he had to go to, which it was amazing that he stayed. And my friend at the time, actually, he decided not to go into work that day, and he stayed with me until my mom could get there. We were brought back, and I was told I had to stay. Like they were like, you really need to stay. Come to find out, when my mom got there, I had pneumonia or a lung infection, something like that, and a kidney infection. They said that's so bizarre. That's really not common. Only with like older folks, they get pneumonia and stuff when it's not cold outside. They were like saying that's really strange. That's not something that normally happens. And so I brought up the mold thing, and I said, look, this mold thing is happening in my apartment. Could that be it? And they said, yes, but we're not going to say that on paper. We're not going to give them that proof, basically. Yeah, so I never got to actually address them with that I got sick, but I'm like 1,000% sure that the reason I was sick was because of the mold in that apartment. Eventually they found out that the problem was a burst pipe, and it was, I guess, underneath the flooring or under the tub or something, and they fixed it, but it took so long, and it took constant threats to contact like the environmental office of our state, and just all kinds of stuff. It took so much to get them to actually take care of it, and they eventually offered to let us go to another apartment. But at that time, it's like I was still recovering. It took me probably a month to fully recover. Like, it took me a long time to fully recover from that, because I had waited so long, dumbly waited so long, because I didn't have insurance at the time and I did not want to have to pay it. But praise the Lord, there was a charitable organization who actually fronted the bill for me, and I was so thankful for that, and I was so happy that that they were able to do that for me. I did have to pay a couple of bills, and it took me a long time to pay it off, but I'm so thankful that that charity organization was there to help me in my time of need, and I think that's so amazing. We eventually moved out, and I got most of my deposit back, which was really awesome. But in the next Storytime video of the next place we lived, you guys have got to hear what they did. Like, not to be clickbaity, but that was the worst experience. Like, you think what I'm telling you now about this apartment is bad? That was the worst experience I've ever had with a property management group in my life. If you enjoyed, please give this video a like, share with your friends, see how horrific their experience with their first apartment or place was. I'm sure it's like miles beyond that, but that is the time that I believe my apartment complex basically sent me to the hospital. And thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time on We're the Allisons. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching another video from We're the Allisons. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can check out some of our other videos, and you can also find us on our social media sites here. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.